Hello, friends. It is Nomad Brad coming to you from my box truck. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy to have you here. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. We're doing something different tonight. We're broadcasting through StreamYard, so we're using streaming software a little bit different than what we're used to. But I'm able to see the chat, so let me know what's up. Let me know if I sound okay, if the volume's okay. 10 out of 10. I guess that's good. Sound and video is fine. We can hear you. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Welcome to the live stream. I want to just start off by saying that tonight we're going to do things a little bit different. This week is my 40th birthday, 40 trips around the sun. And so I want to do things a little different. We're not going to talk about the box truck conversion tonight. I know a lot of you guys are excited. I'm excited. I've been working hard on it. Nomad Dad's been helping me. But we're going to pick that up next Wednesday. Next week, we're going to dive back into the box truck build. And I have a lot to show you guys, a lot of new progress. It's very exciting. But for tonight, what I wanted to do things a little bit special. And so I want to just kind of go back and reflect on 7 years of living in a vehicle. And so 7 years of living in a vehicle, also being 40, and just kind of talk about, some life choices and some decisions I made, and just kind of check in with you guys and let you know how it's been going for me. And I know a lot of you folks that watch the channel are either considering this lifestyle or you're interested in it, or a lot of you folks are actually getting started in this lifestyle. So I'd like to be able to share some insights and just kind of some things I've come up with along the way, and hopefully it'll help you guys out a little bit in your own journey. Additionally, we have a special guest tonight. That's why we're in StreamYard. We're doing things a little different. And so in about 30 minutes, I'm going to bring in my friend Larry from Work Less, Enjoy Life More, his YouTube channel. So he's going to drop in. We're going to try to do a little side-by-side video screen, and he's going to share some insights as well. Larry is a super nice guy, and the name of his channel says it all, work less, enjoy. I'm sorry, I always get it backwards. Work less, enjoy life more. I always flip it around, enjoy more life or enjoy life more. But nonetheless, work less, enjoy your life more. The name's in the title. He's doing it. And that is absolutely the lifestyle that I've been after for the last 7 years. And I think I've pretty much accomplished it. I'm definitely working a lot less, and I'm really enjoying my life. So stay tuned for that. In about 30 minutes, we're going to bring Larry in, and we're going to have a chat. And if this goes well tonight, I'm thinking about in the future maybe bringing in some guests, occasionally here and there as well, and we'll just see how that works out. So let me just dive into it then. I have kind of some notes prepared, some things I wanted to cover. And so the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to just kind of set just kind of some history for folks that are new to the channel, or just aren't quite sure why I'm 40 living in a van. And so I wanted to kind of share what ultimately got me to this point, because I think a lot of other folks, especially now, when I started living in a van 7 years ago, the economy was much different. Expenses were much less. Things were a lot different than they are today. So I feel like now more than ever, this lifestyle that I'm living and the things I'm doing are even more appealing to folks. So I want to share where I came from, and I'm thinking that some of that might resonate with you folks. So let me just give you guys a brief history really quick. We're going to keep it brief. 7 years ago, I was 32. I was busy. I was working, 50 hours a week. And I felt like I was at a point where I was just collecting money. I was working, I was bringing in money, but then all that money I was bringing in was just going to expenses, going to bills, paying for a house, a mortgage, cars, insurance. And I felt like I never really had a lot of time to enjoy, the money or the fruits of my labor. I was always busy working to make more money to pay more bills. And at the same time, one day, I don't know exactly what happened, but I just kind of realized, okay, I'm 32. I'm going to have to keep doing this for another 33 years. For 33 more years, I'm going to have to just keep working to pay the bills. And then hopefully I can retire, right? I mean, there's really no guarantee, but hopefully things work out and I position myself in such a way that I can retire. And at the time, I had no children, no wife. So, I was in a unique position where I could make some drastic changes to my life. And I couldn't really wrap my mind around the thought that I was just going to be living on this same path for another 33 years. And another big part of that was that I wasn't enjoying life anymore. I felt like I was just in a routine. Every day was the same. There was nothing exciting. There was no adventure. All I had to look forward to was occasionally on the weekend, I could go and, go on a little camping trip or go hang out with some friends. And then, once a year, I could take off a week and go on some vacation for, 10 days, which ultimately is just enough time to realize after 10 days of vacation that you don't want to go back to work. So the vacation wasn't even really super enjoyable. By the end of it, you're like, I don't want to go back. I just want to keep living vacation life. So I just got to this point where I realized I don't want to keep doing this. Life is not exciting. I don't want to keep going. And so, I kind of started to really think about, look at my life, analyze it, and realize what the course I was going down, what was causing me to be in this predicament. And the main thing that was really bumming me out is that I was having to work so much, basically just to pay bills. And so I realized if I could reduce my bills, my monthly expenses, I wouldn't have to work so much. And the reality is, a lot of the monthly expenses, I didn't even have time to enjoy. I accumulated toys, I had motorcycles and cars and a house, but even the house, I was working so much that it was really just a place to sleep. And so it's not even like it brought me this huge sense of joy. It was just a place to kind of crash at night and rest for the next day of work. So I realized if I could eliminate my overhead, reduce my expenses, I wouldn't have to work so much. And that got me pretty pumped up, right? I was like, okay, I'm figuring a way out. Let's cut the overhead and we don't have to work so much. So now I'm thinking, okay, so now I have a bunch of free time, right? In my mind, I'm still working my job, but in my mind, I'm thinking into the future, right? Okay, so I don't have to work that much. I have a bunch of free time. What do I want to do with my life? Because at the same time, you don't want to just work less and then, sit on the couch and watch TV. You want to work less, but you want to go live a life that's fulfilling and rewarding, and you want to do something you feel good about at the end of the day. And so for me personally, everyone's different. Everyone has their own motivation and things they like. But for me, I'm an outdoors person. I really enjoy nature and hiking, camping, traveling, exploring. I definitely have something deep down in my genetics where I just enjoy being in new places and seeing places and things I've never been before. That's really exciting for me. And in fact, even to this day, 7 years later, after being living in a vehicle and traveling, I get so excited and I get the biggest smile on my face and I get so happy when I'm starting out on a new adventure. When I'm sitting in the driver's seat and buckle in my seatbelt, and I know I'm heading off on a new path to a place I've never been. I'm going to see new mountains and rivers and towns, and I'm just out exploring. To this day, that still just gets me so excited and just really pumped up. And so I realized that's what I want to do with my life. I want to explore and travel and be in nature and just get away from the rush and the rat race and just the cycle of just collecting money from clients and then handing it over to bill collectors. Just, step away from all that. And so that's what I did. At 32, I sold everything I owned, my house, all my stuff, and I moved into a van. And so for 7 years, I've been traveling. I've had multiple different vehicles, but I've been primarily traveling, visiting new places, mountains, lakes, rivers, beaches, the desert. I've been going all kinds of new places, discovering beautiful scenes and also cool events, meeting people, having really cool experiences and encounters that you wouldn't come across in your typical everyday life. And that's one thing that's super interesting. When I was back living my normal life, you're in such a routine that you're going from home to work, to your grocery store, to your gym. You're going to all your normal places. And so there's not a lot of variety. You're kind of always bumping into the same characters, the same people, going the same roads. It's all very routine. But when you branch out into this lifestyle, you're meeting all kinds of people you would never normally meet, finding yourself in all kinds of different situations. So it's very exciting, and it always feels fresh and new. And so that's something that I just have been really, really excited about over the past 7 years. And so I can definitely say, without question, I now feel like I'm living a life that enjoy, that's purposeful, and that I'm not tired of. A lot of people come and go in the van lifestyle, and that's something that's, everyone is going to be different and kind of have their own opinions. But like for me, this is a way of life. I really have no plans of stopping. Now I do have plans to slow down a little bit. I mean, I hit 40, Nomad Brad's not the young guy on the street anymore. So I do have plans to get land at some point in the future and kind of slow down. But the key is I'm going to maintain this same minimalistic lifestyle. So my plan is to get a piece of land somewhere beautiful, but I'd like to continue living in my rig, doing some traveling still occasionally. I don't want to just live on my land indefinitely, but just kind of keep it going, keep my expenses low, but have a little, place to hang my head, a shed to keep some big tools, and kind of keep things rolling. And so that's kind of just a quick introduction. I know a lot of you guys have heard it before, but why I made the choices I did, how I ended up where I'm at now, and why I'm still doing it. I still just really, really enjoy it. And so what I want to talk about now is, and we're going to bring Larry in about 15 minutes. I'm watching the clock, but I want to set the stage with a few questions. There's a lot of questions that come up kind of over and over about this lifestyle from folks that are interested in it, and they want to get into it, but they're not quite sure. They have some hesitation. And so I want to cover a couple things through my 7 years of experience. Now, one of the biggest questions people ask me is finances, money, right? Money's huge. Money runs the world. Everyone's got to have money. You got to eat, you got to buy groceries, you got to buy gas. And so people ask, is van life expensive? And another thing that kind of goes along with that is a lot of people say, man, you live in your van, you must be driving all the time, you must spend a ton of money on gas, your gas bill must be astronomical. And so I wanted to share with you guys my some monthly expenses, what it costs me to live in a van. And so the one thing I will say is, when you're living in a vehicle, all your normal living expenses, are kind of up to you, whether you want to spend, um, whether you want to, eat out a lot, or make your own food, or you want to buy expensive clothing or cheap clothing. But what it boils down to, when you're living in a van, really the only additional cost is fuel, right? So when you go to living in a vehicle, there's no additional expenses to live in a vehicle, other than you have to have the vehicle, and then you're going to have to buy fuel for it and insurance, right? So I did a breakdown, and currently my monthly expenses, actually this isn't even currently, this was from 2 months ago. So I wanted to do a expense report from back when I was still driving around, like traveling, when I was going through northern Arizona before, because now I'm just living on someone's property building out a new vehicle, so my gas expense is almost non-existent. But 2 months ago, my monthly expense for living in a van was less than $1,600. I spent $600 on groceries, $300 on gas, $100 on my phone bill, $125 on Starlink. My van insurance is $60. I had about $100 on subscriptions like YouTube Premium and a couple of video editing applications and stuff. So if you add that all up, and then I had a couple meals out, a few Mexican restaurants, things like that. If you add that all up, my actual monthly expenses about 2 months ago was $1,285. Now, if you look at the cost of living today, $1,285 a month to exist as a human in North America, it's a pretty low price. So you can see it's not too expensive. And, one thing about living in a vehicle is you don't have a lot of room to store stuff, so you don't have a lot of room to go shopping and impulse buy and buy a bunch of extra pairs of shoes and new couches. There's not a bunch of room to hoard extra tools and stuff. So your your monthly living expenses really just come down to the things you need to survive as a human. And so that kind of rolls into Mike says, don't forget haircut expenses. I appreciate you, Mike. That's right. I did get a haircut about a month ago. It was $27 for this Walmart haircut. So that kind of rolls into one of the other questions people ask me a lot, which is, do you miss all your stuff? Like, what about your stuff? You're just living in a van. You don't have room for things. And so one thing I've realized from living in a vehicle is what you will find out is really how little you need to be happy and to survive, not survive, but to thrive and live a good life and do all the things you want to do. So the other thing I would say too is when you're not having to maintain a whole bunch of stuff, there's a lot of responsibility and financial commitment and stress that goes along with that, right? Like if you're maintaining a house and a car and a boat, a motorcycle and a trailer and all those kind of things, it takes money, it takes time, and it takes some of your brain power and your emotional power to maintain all this stuff and buy the things to keep the stuff going. And so you get to kind of cross all that off your list, and you get more free time to kind of do what it is that you really are passionate about. So, I would say for most people, when if you're considering getting into this lifestyle, you're going to have a lot more free time on your hands to explore a hobby or a passion or a creative project, or, figure out how to make money. You might want to start a business or a side hustle or something, but you're going to have a lot more free time to do that because you're not having to chisel out a bunch of time to take care of your stuff, your material possessions. Looking at the comments, someone says gym membership, laundry expense. Absolutely. That was in there. I do have a Planet Fitness membership. It's $25 a month. And then I do laundry once every 2 weeks. All I have is about 15 t-shirts, 15 pairs of underwear, 15 pairs of socks. So I do laundry once every 2 weeks. And if I go to a regular laundromat, it's like $10 to do laundry. So that's $20 a month, for laundry expense. And there's some other little incidentals as well. But if you just compare it with the cost of, renting something, and living in a traditional sticks and bricks, it's quite a bit cheaper. And one other thing I wanted to mention to you guys, people like just another cool thing about living in a vehicle is always having your home with you. And people that aren't living this lifestyle really can't comprehend how convenient and how addicting it is that anywhere you go, you have everything you need within your reach. You know what I mean? You got your kitchen, your fridge, your bathroom, your bed, your television, all your stuff is always with you. So like, if I'm out and I'm doing a job or something, or wherever I'm at, if I need to use the bathroom, bathroom's right here. If I get hungry, I'll hop in my kitchen and cook up a meal. And it's so convenient, especially just having a fridge. If I want to grab a quick snack, or grab a Gatorade out of the fridge, just always having that convenience, it's insane. And I'm at a point now. I was just telling my dad yesterday, Nomad Dad, we were out at Lowe's at the hardware store, and I hopped in the rig to get a cool drink. And I just told them, I said, I'm so spoiled now. I couldn't imagine driving around in a regular vehicle, an empty vehicle where you have nothing with you. You have no bathroom, no fridge. If you need something, you have to either drive home, wherever home is, or you have to stop somewhere to store, buy something, have something prepared. So it's so convenient to just always have your stuff with you. It's absolutely phenomenal. So that's, when people say, "Do you miss your stuff?" Like all your extra stuff, your toys and your hobbies and all that kind of stuff. I really don't. But rather than missing stuff, I actually have like this bonus where the small amount of things that I do have, they're always with me. Change of clothes, if the weather changes, need to change my pants, anything I need, it's right here. So it's pretty fantastic. Let me hop over and check the comments. Extreme Low says, "What's a hobby you have had that doesn't work well living in the box truck that you wish you could fit into the new box truck build?" The one thing I'll say is I just went on a big rant about how I don't miss having a vehicle that's empty, or hobbies or anything. But the one thing that I actually do miss occasionally is having a fun car. So back when I was living my older lifestyle, I had a fun sports car that I drove around, and I really just enjoyed driving. It was a manual transmission. It was pretty fast. I just enjoyed driving, being low to the ground, shifting, loud exhaust. So I just enjoyed the experience of driving around in a sports car. And so I do miss that on occasion, but not enough to go back to the things required to own a sports car. As far as hobbies, everyone's different. I think if you wanted to get into a lot of like maybe outdoor hobbies that require large equipment, it's hard to do in a vehicle. If you got into like hunting and fishing and kayaking, and you can kind of do a few things living in a vehicle, but you have to choose. You can't really do it all, right? You can't have a fishing pole and a kayak and just a bunch of different gear with you. We're gonna do one more question, then we're gonna hop over to Larry. He's waiting here in the waiting room. Sophia says, "How do you manage an extreme cold?" So that's a great question. So the great thing about living in a vehicle that's mobile is you can live wherever you want. And me personally, I do not wish to live in extreme cold, and I do not wish to live in extreme heat. I don't want any of it. So I just follow the good weather. I travel. I spend winters usually in the desert Southwest, either Arizona or Nevada, or over in Southern California. That's where I spend winters. And then in the summer, I travel somewhere that is cooler. I usually go either California, up to the Northwest, Oregon, Washington. I have some plans in the near future to go up and check out, maybe Idaho, Colorado, Montana, that type of stuff. But by living in a vehicle and being able to travel, you can just pick where you want to live. So you can avoid that stuff. So I don't deal with extreme temperatures. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Larry. We're going to bring in Larry from Work Less, Enjoy Life More. And Larry's a cool cat. I met him for the first time about a month ago. He came up to visit me here in northern Arizona. And so he's got a similar story. So we're gonna hear from Larry and get some insights from him. And I'm gonna monitor the chat. And me and Larry are just gonna have a discussion. And if you guys have questions or something pops up, go ahead and throw it in the chat, and we'll try to do some Q&A. Larry,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Are you working less and enjoying life more?
Um, yeah, I mean, I've been working this week on some things, on some projects, stuff that I'm wanting to do. Not a 9 to 5 job for sure, but getting some solar put on my camper here.
I'm happy to hear it. Yeah, I was watching your YouTube channel a little bit, and I know Larry is. Are you in Louisiana? Where are you at? Looks like Larry buffered out on us. I'm pretty sure Larry's in Louisiana, but he went over to the East Coast maybe to get solar put on his truck camper.
Yeah, Texas, and I apologize. I don't have the best internet service, so there might be some points where I freeze up. But
Okay.
yeah,
That's all good, brother. Why don't you tell us, Larry, a little bit about, if you could, about any of the things that I've discussed, maybe kind of how you ended up in your current position and just how you're feeling about it.
yeah, it's a very similar story. I was working, had a few businesses, working. It seemed like every day, and it seemed like I was just working to pay the bills. And the more I would do, the more bills I would just bring in, and it seemed like I could never get ahead. Even though I had everything I wanted, boat and RVs and big house and all that stuff, but it just I wasn't happy. And then I ended up in the hospital with some chest pains. Kind of find out it was just like anxiety induced, but it just kind of a shocker, like, life's short, and I don't think that's what it's all about. So I ended up kind of doing the same thing, just sold my house, sold everything, gave everything away that I couldn't, moved into an RV. I think I froze up.
We
All
can
right,
hear
I
you,
froze up
Larry.
for a second. Okay. But I did mine a little bit different. I actually moved into a 40-foot fifth wheel, which I still own. And that is kind of like my home base. And the truck camper I'm in now is just what I use to go out on the road. So, it's still living in an RV, somewhat nomadic lifestyle, but just with that little bit of a twist of having a place to put my fishing rod and kayak and all those things that you can't carry with you. At least I can go back and pick that up and take it out and do a trip with it or something and bring it back. It does cost a little bit more money, but for me, it works out better for me, and it's definitely a lot cheaper than it was living in a house.
Absolutely, man. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because one thing that's important for folks to realize is there's no wrong way to live this lifestyle. I mean, you have people that are, living in cars in cities, working regular jobs, right? Totally just trying to purely save money and avoid paying rent. And then you have, people that are traveling that have no home base, and then people like Larry that got a spot for the kayak. So, there's no wrong way to do it. The important thing is that you're happy and you're living a life that you feel is rewarding. And hopefully you're feeling a little less anxiety now. How's your chest feeling, brother?
Oh man, I wish I would have did it years ago. I wake up every day and I don't have any regrets. I love it. I still can't believe it's true. And I've always been one of those people that I would get a new boat or something, and then it would be exciting for a couple of months, and then the newness would wear off, and whatever, I'd move on to something else. But this is like the only thing in my life that it just gets better by the day. I just love
Man,
it.
you're on the same page as me, brother. When I was making a list of questions for tonight, I was trying to think of any regrets that I had.
Yeah,
And
I
brother,
was.
I came up with zero.
I have in my notes a pass on that question because I don't. I mean, other than it's hard to date when you're living in a vehicle, but other than that, um,
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you, man. I really couldn't think of any regrets. And I thought about, one thing you kind of said is you wish you did it sooner. And that's something that I've thought about and I've kind of kicked around in my mind like, man, I wish I maybe would have started earlier. But the reality is it's all of our collective life experiences that put us, in the position that we're at any given moment in time, right? It's all the choices we've made up to that point. And so, it's like if you would have started earlier, you wouldn't have necessarily had all the experience that you have now. You wouldn't have worked as much. You might not have had as much pain of working a job you didn't like. So your motivation might not have been as strong. So it's like on one hand, it'd be cool to start younger. But at the same time, I'm happy that I went through the things I did, made some mistakes and figured stuff out. And I feel like it put me in a good position to, really appreciate where I'm at now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I guess I say that more of like just a figure of speech, but yeah, I mean, I'm a true believer in um, kind of everything happens for a reason. So I don't think it could have worked out any better, and I'm glad it's currently working out for me now in life. So and you're right. I mean, if, I don't think I could have just jumped into this in my 20s. It definitely took a lot of work to get things to the point to where I could get into a position to make that transfer over, which would include running your own business to be able to kind of transfer, work my own hours that I needed to continue the lifestyle until, well, for me, I ended up switching over to do YouTube. But yeah, if I was just working at a 9 to 5 job, it would be very hard to switch over for my situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. Let's explore this a little bit because you hit on it, and this is something I think about, and maybe it falls into the regret category a little bit, but a lot of folks ask about loneliness in this lifestyle, right? And so, there's for both of us, right? Like we don't currently have a girlfriend or a wife, and I don't have kids. I assume you don't have kids, except for your fur babies. And so I guess, tell me how you're feeling on that. I mean, yeah, just overall, tell me your thoughts on where you're at right now with that.
Uh, well, if you would have asked me this question 5 years ago, it would have been a completely different answer, I think. But I had more or less been in a relationship for my adult life with somebody in a long-term relationship or something. And whenever I decided that wasn't working out and I kind of moved on to this lifestyle, uh, that first year was like the worst year of my life. And I think it was because I was just hiding a lot of things by staying busy working and not dealing with my own personal mental health, and just always having that person with me to distract me. And then the first year of being by myself, 100% by myself, and it was rough, but it just forced me to work on myself and figure out what it was that was bothering me. And now I just love it. Honestly, I think it makes it harder to want to get back into a relationship because I enjoy how easy it is to be alone, and I don't mind being out in the middle of the forest by myself. I mean, I love it. But if you would have asked me 5 years ago, I don't think I could have been out in the forest by myself with my own
Yeah,
thoughts. That would have been rough.
yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. I've definitely realized, the more time I spend alone, the more I just enjoy kind of my own peace and, being in nature, just being kind of surrounded by that, having time to, myself. I don't have another, person that's bringing their energy into my situation. And maybe that's a little bit of selfishness on my part. But it's pretty enjoyable. And,
It's
people,
nice.
people always ask me like, well, aren't you lonely? And, all this stuff from a standpoint of like, it must be bad. And my reply is always like, if I was really lonely or if things were bad, I would change my situation. You know what I mean? Like if I was really lonely, wanted to be with somebody, I would be with somebody. But I feel like the fact that I'm not, it kind of goes to say a lot just right there that it's
I,
actually pretty enjoyable.
I think it's healthy for people to learn to be lonely and to deal with their own thoughts inside. I think a lot of people nowadays are so distracted with their phones and relationships and friends. They don't even know what it's like. But I think it's healthy, honestly. I'm glad that I went through all this, and I wouldn't take it back for anything. I'm glad I went through all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. They say distance makes the heart grow fonder, right? And I think about today how we're also connected with people. And if you're in a relationship and you're living together, you're kind of just always in the same space. And then when you're not physically in front of each other, you're texting each other and messaging on apps, and there's kind of just this constant connection. And I'm reading a book right now that's set like back in ancient times. And there's this guy who's like a warrior, and he leaves his girl to go off on this battle, for like a year. He's on horseback. They're going through the mountains. And throughout this journey, he's like missing her and writing letters to her. And then he gets back and she's so happy to see him. And it just kind of put it into perspective, that I feel like we're not meant to be around somebody just 24/7, or not just around, but to be connected with somebody else just constantly. I feel like it kind of ruins things a little bit. So
Yeah,
what?
yes and no. I feel like ultimately we're meant to be with somebody, whether or not how much time we spend with that person or not. But I just think it's at least healthy for people to go through a period of time where they can get to know themselves, because when you're comfortable with yourself, I mean, I feel like the world is just, at your, I don't know how to word this, but like nothing else really matters at that point. There's no more fears of if you're with somebody and they leave you or whatever. I mean, because if you're happy with yourself and fine being alone, then there's nothing to be worried about, I guess. I don't know if I'm wording that correctly, but
Yeah, yeah, and that's interesting because somebody just asked a question. They're asking you specifically. They say, Sophia says, "Can you ask Larry how he manages to be happy being alone in his low times?" So I guess, maybe that would be the thought that, when you're feeling low, you would have a partner and maybe they would help comfort you or lift you up. But I think that probably depends on what relationship you have, right? Whether your partner is going to help elevate you or not. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you feel like being in a low spot? I mean, we all go through it. Do you feel like it's actually easier being on your own through a low time, or would you prefer the help of somebody else?
um, I feel like both ways are good. I mean, that period of time when I was saying the first year of being alone was hard. Um, there was a lot of depression, a lot of anger, and just a lot of stuff going on through my head. And I was trying to learn myself that I didn't know of. And I started learning that for me, maybe not everybody believes it, but meditation works great. I love doing stuff like that, going for walks, and I've started to learn when my mind is more calm and quiet, and I can notice what affects me differently, the foods that I eat, the things, activities I do, and whatnot. So if I'm not in a good mood, yeah, sometimes it's hard to get off the couch. But I know that as soon as I get going on a long walk and maybe listen to an audiobook or something, it doesn't take long to get my mind back right. And especially I like motivational um, audiobooks and things like that. So it's just a matter of learning to deal with it yourself and not relying on that other person to make you happy. But if I had somebody that would assist me in it now that I know how to make myself happy, I feel like that's just a win-win, double whammy right there. I feel like it could be a good situation.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think you nailed it. I think a lot of people, and me included, when I was in a relationship, you kind of get in a habit where you're like looking to this other person for
Hmm.
input and validation. But I think the real growth and strength comes from understanding how you operate and being able to, you got to be able to pull yourself up, out of the mud. If you try to grab onto someone else, you might pull them down into the mud with you. You know what I'm saying? So you're definitely right about that. I think it's good to meditate and figure out how your own mind works and your emotions work, and be able to raise yourself up out of it on your own. I think that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, if you're not alone, your mind is it's so crazy. I would have thought this was all crazy talk back when I was with somebody. because I always thought like, oh, my mind's calm. I know who I am and things like that. And, but yeah, wow, it's totally different. Spend some time alone and just to learn how you work and your mind works and stuff like that, and to have enough time to learn it and master it or get better at it. I just, it's great. I don't know. I'm glad it happened to me, honestly,
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, man. Um,
because you can't wait for that other person. They might not be in a good mood either. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't wait for the other person to help you out and put you in a better mood.
and that's the flip side of the coin, right? Is you just can't assume you're always going to have a cheerleader on your side ready to help
Hmm.
you out. They got their own battles they're fighting, you know? So
Yeah, and
maybe
that's
you're
a
both
burden to put
bound.
on them too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you, brother. Um, so someone else is asking, I'll start this one off and then give me your thoughts on it. But someone else is asking about children. And so that's something, I've thought about. Um, going on 40 now, I feel a little old to be starting a family. But, the reality is, if I would have had kids when most people have kids, like late 20s, early 30s, I would have missed this lifestyle and I would have been in, a job, just working hard, trying to pay the bills. And I really feel like I wouldn't be able to be the father that I would want to be and a husband I would want to be because I, hadn't reached my final form yet. Right. So I feel like if I already had kids, it would not have been an ideal situation. And I don't think I would have been a good father. So in that regard, I kind of feel like, at 40, I'm just now in a place where I'm even comfortable with the thought of having kids. But at the same time, now I'm older and I don't know that I want to, have a 20-year-old kid and I'm 60. I'm not sure how to reconcile that. But what are your thoughts, Larry? Talk to me.
Well, the flip side of that is if you had a kid at a younger age, you might have been forced to do this earlier. I mean, I know people that have kids, they don't have it all figured out, but maybe by the time the kid gets older, they're your age or in their 50s or things like that. And maybe that's how it's supposed to work out. I don't know. But um, I was in a long term relationship that is in my, prime years where I could have had a kid. And she had 3 kids of her own already and wasn't able to have any more. And at that time, a fourth kid definitely wasn't what I wanted, And by the time that relationship ended, I just felt like kind of where you're at, just out of that age range to where I would want a kid. I don't really want to be raising a kid until I'm 70. And now it's like I enjoy my life so much. I just not saying a kid would ruin it, but I don't know if I want to start over with a toddler, and that's a lot of years to put in.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah. I'm with you, brother.
I do kind of regret it at this point. I kind of wish I had a kid earlier, but it's just a matter of life. Just you got to deal with it.
Yeah, either way, there's going to be pros and cons with either side. Like if I could teleport in a kid right now that was like 6 years old or something, that'd be cool.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like either way, you something, you're gonna have pros and cons. So we make the best decision we can at the time with the information available, and then we roll with it. So here we
And then
are.
it all circles back around to I feel like things just happen the way they're supposed to. So maybe I wasn't supposed to have a kid. Who knows? Maybe I will next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the best decision of my life, but who
Hey,
knows?
that might be some foreshadowing, brother. That
No.
might be some foreshadowing. Oh, hell yeah,
Mm.
man. Let's roll on. I got one more question that I want to talk about, and then we'll open it up for anything that you want to talk about, Larry. If you got any stories or anything from the questions I sent you want to talk about, it's open game. But one more thing I want to get your opinion on is another thing people constantly ask me is what about retirement? What are you going to do for retirement? And so what I tell folks is there's an old saying that, if you do what you love and you can get paid for it, then you never really have to work, right? You're not really working. And so I did a lot of things I didn't enjoy for money in my younger years, but now as I mentioned earlier in tonight's live stream, what I really enjoy doing is traveling, being in nature, exploring new places and mountains and streams and lakes. And now through YouTube, I'm able to get paid to do that. And so it's like I have a job, I have some things I have to do, but I don't feel like I have a job I need to retire from. And I think for a lot of people, they end up working a job they don't necessarily enjoy, and then retirement is like the light at the end of the tunnel. They're just trying to get to retirement so they can start living the life they enjoy. But I feel like I'm already doing it and I'm getting paid, so there's no reason to retire. And the one of the OGs of van life that got me into the game was Bob Wells. And I don't know how old he is now. He's got to be 70, and he's out there doing it, huge YouTuber. And he'll probably do it till the day he dies. So I feel like there's really no reason to retire, Larry. What say you?
Yeah, I always joke around with my friends and say that I want to be the next Bob Wells, because just do RV tours or something by the time that age, because I love this job, honestly. But see, YouTube is such a weird job to have, because it can snowball to the point to where you're at the status of like Mav or somebody where you're making money to where you don't have to worry about retirement, or you can just kind of just keep plugging away and then do something like Bob Wells, to where you're not really doing real hard work. He's got editors and he's just the face of the channel, and go out and do tours of rigs. And then also, we spend years putting content out there that will continue to get watched probably after we're long gone and dead, so it's definitely a weird job, but it's something that I've continued to think about retirement. But honestly, I don't know. Who knows if I'd even make it to 80 or 90 years old? Like I said, I was always worried about having a job, paying into a 401k, and then get to that year of retirement, and then if I make it there, and who knows if I'm going to be able to enjoy it for 6 months or 10 years. You don't know. But I love this job. I'd do this till the day I die. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I agree, man. I think you nailed it. I mean, we're blessed to have this opportunity. This didn't exist 20 years ago. So it's just, we're at the right place at the right time. And, I agree with you. My biggest concern, back when I was 32 and I realized I got to work 33 more years, and then I hope I can retire. My biggest fear was putting in 33 years doing something I didn't necessarily enjoy, living a life I didn't enjoy. And then I get to the end and there's no retirement for me, Or I've heard stories about people retiring and, dropping dead of a heart attack the next week. So I had a hard time with the idea that you're just going to put your life off, for 30 years, 40 years, and then maybe there's something else for you. So
yeah.
I think you nailed it, man.
I know too many people that got what they wanted, and a month later ended up dead of a heart attack. I mean, it's hard to gotta enjoy the journey, not just wait for those couple of years.
That's the thing, man. Enjoy the journey. We never know, how much time we have left. I just saw the other day there was an overlanding YouTube couple that like rolled off a road and died, both of them. But at least they were living their dream. They didn't slump over from a heart attack in an office chair. You know what I mean? I mean, they were out living the life they enjoyed, and unfortunately it was cut short, right? I mean, it's a tragedy to have your life cut short, but at the end of the day, I'm sure if they could go back and reflect, they would rather that they went out and made the memories they did and they lived an adventure, rather than hanging out in an office all day. So.
Oh yeah. Cause I mean, maybe I'm the only one that thinks like, you just assume that when that day comes, you'll be doing something amazing, when you die or something, but it could easily just be slumped over in an office chair. Or so actually I heard of a guy the other day that passed away in his fishing boat out on Lake Powell. And I was like, heck, that wouldn't be a horrible way to go. You're out doing something you love on the lake, and that would be the way to go. But man, it'd be horrible if it was while you're sitting in traffic going to work to a job you don't like. But I guess it doesn't matter at that point anyways, but
I agree, man. I would much rather pass away, at a ripe old age in a fishing boat.
Hmm.
That sounds like a good way to go out, man. Just one of those sudden, heart attack or something. Next thing you know, poof, you're on to
Yeah.
you're on to the next journey, whatever is beyond this one. You're just boom, you're in a new one. Let's see. So, Sophia came in with a question. She says, "How hard or easy is it to raise a dog during van life? What are the challenges?" Um, I can speak on. I started van life with a dog that was about 4 years old, so she was already potty trained, which was awesome, and I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. I miss not having a dog. She's passed away about 2 years ago now, and I'm looking forward to getting a new one this spring. Hey, right there. Is that Marty?
Yeah, that's Marty.
Marty, all right, there he is. So they're so much fun. The only thing I'm a little concerned about, and I don't know if Larry has any insight on this, but have you potty trained a dog in a vehicle? That's the only thing I'm concerned about.
um, I mean, in my fifth wheel, yeah, it's no different. I mean, just have to those first couple months, you just had to every hour or whatever, just keep taking them outside. Luckily, where I was parked, I was able to be in the same yard to give them an area to go and like continue to smell the same areas he's already peed in or whatever.
Okay.
So I think it would be a little bit harder if you were going all over the place, different spots all the time. But I don't know. I haven't tried that.
So that's good advice. Maybe try to at least start out in one location where they always have that potty spot.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think? Are there any other challenges or anything with the dog? I know one thing is the temperature, right? You're trying to keep them comfortable. If it's hot out, mainly is the thing. They can deal with cold, but it's hard to keep them cool if it's hot out.
Yeah, I hold on. I'm gonna forget this topic. All right. Okay. I wanted to write a topic down in case that comes up. But
Okay.
yeah, I am a bit obsessive with it. I've got a Waggle device, which I don't 100% trust. It all comes down to wireless service, if the service is good or not, and then depending on a device.
Bum, bum. Larry dropped out. We'll wait for him to ping back in here. He was talking about the Waggle device. That's like the camera that's connected to Wi-Fi where you can check in on your dogs inside the rig and see how they're doing. So I think that's a great piece of tech to have. Uh,
Yeah, hear me now?
yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Okay, sorry, yeah, it cut out. But
All good, brother.
yeah, I have the Waggle device, but even then, it's hard to trust something like that because when you're in an RV, if something malfunctions and the AC goes out, they don't. I mean, they probably don't even have an hour before they're done. So I try to. It's a struggle. I mean, it does tie me to the RV a lot, at least during the summer months. The wintertime, spring, fall, it's totally different. Go on couple hour long bike rides, and to go to the store and not really stress and worry. But in the middle of the summer, it kind of ties me to the RV pretty close.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you just don't know. I mean, something with solar or even a malfunction with the AC, there's something could malfunction and you just don't know.
Yeah, it
And
could just trip a breaker or something and just cut out. Yeah.
yeah, and it does. So it's not it's so much easier in the house because hours later it's usually okay.
Yeah. Yeah, plus the house just has better insulation. I mean, it ain't gonna get 120 degrees in a house, real quick like it will, inside of an RV on a hot summer day. So,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Hey, let's open it up to you, Larry. What do you want to talk about, brother? I know you wrote something down. What are you feeling? Throw it out there.
Um, well, we were talking. I don't remember what struck. Which ironically, this is the topic I'm talking about. Something we had. Oh,
I think you're good, man. I can see you.
can you
I can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good.
All
I
right.
see your eyes moving.
Okay, now I think we're back.
Yep. Go for it, man.
Okay. Let's see. What? Yeah. You know what? I don't know. I don't know how to segue this into the conversation. We were talking about something. I don't remember what it was, but
Uh-huh.
um, you're saying like how we love this lifestyle, working these jobs, and it's just a theory I have that I don't feel like YouTube is a job for everybody. I feel like there are a lot of people that are fine with their 9 to 5 jobs and their routines and their houses and but there are people like you and I and I've gotten to know a lot of other YouTubers and I feel like there's a single common factor is it seems like most of us have something in the realm of like ADHD to where we're just not happy with that same house every day, the same job every day, to be able to like travel around, especially when it comes to YouTube. I feel like people like that have to consistently compete with themselves and one up themselves. And yeah, I don't think that, at least for this situation, like being a YouTuber traveling for me or whatever, I don't think everybody can do it. It probably sounds completely crazy for people, but for me, it's the perfect job. I love it. Get to create and then one up myself and try to make a better video next week and then have different locations to live and not have that same routine every day.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think just this lifestyle in general, just removing YouTube, just the lifestyle in general, it is not for everybody.
Mm.
And I try to mention that occasionally to folks that it's, I don't want to brag and build this lifestyle up and say that everyone should do it. There's a lot of folks that really like a routine and they like going to that job and having that security and they like going to a specific grocery store every day. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if that's the type of person you are, you should probably not live this lifestyle. And going along with that, if you're somebody that has like a really tight knit family and friend circle, and you're like, you have people that you're constantly associating with in person, this is not the lifestyle for you. You know what I mean? You're gonna ultimately miss those people pretty quickly. So I think it takes a specific type of person that's comfortable with the constant change and the newness and the exploration, and is also comfortable with a lot of alone time, and like you mentioned, you spend a lot of time with yourself and figuring out your psychology and your emotions. And so you have to be, kind of tuned a little bit that way to maintain your sanity, when you're living this lifestyle. So I appreciate you mentioning that. It's not for
Now I
everyone.
think on with what you were just saying though, I'm sort of that person. Like that's for me, having that home base, going to the same grocery store and the same gas station and stuff is a part of who I am, and that's kind of who I am in a way. But then it's like I got to break free and go travel and get away and break from that. But that's just me. But I think that it is something that is worth a shot that somebody should go and try at least once in their life because you don't know. I mean, for me, I'm a pretty quiet person where I don't go out and I'm not the life of a party. I don't go and meet new friends everywhere I go. But I've given this lifestyle a shot, and now it's like I have friends all over the country, and I never thought that that would be me. I just never thought I'd have, the type of friend circle that I have now in this lifestyle. So, you never know. You might find out I don't know, maybe, maybe find out something you should be doing.
Let me ask you something, Larry. Since you have a home base with a trailer, how typically how many months a year do you spend there versus on the road traveling? I'm just curious, kind of what your year looks like.
It's, I mean, there's no set rhyme or reason. I would say half and half. I mean, like
50-50.
I haven't even been back to Arizona in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But then I'll be there for probably a month, and then I'll be gone for another month, and it's just kind of whatever I have planned. And then when I want to go back and be around family for the holidays and stuff, I can be there for a few months, but still kind of go out and do short 3-4 day trips, whatever feels right at the time. I don't know. No rhyme or reason.
Okay. So that's kind of cool because that's kind of an in between, right? It's like you can have a little bit of both. You can have
Hmm.
some of the the freedom of traveling and adventure and exploration, and a lower cost of living. But then on the other hand, you have a home base that you can return to, and you can have the friends and family. And if you're sick, a lot of people ask you like, or ask me, what if you're sick and you get some catastrophic illness? What are you going to do? So at least you kind of have that if you needed to, you could return back and kind of have a home base. So I
Yeah, and
like
then
that idea.
the good part about that too is that I can go to the same dentist and the same doctor and stuff like that. If I'm all over the place, it would be, I feel like, would be a little harder. I don't know. I've never done the full nomadic.
Yeah, that's a cool perspective, Larry, because most of the folks that I've met in my journey are the opposite. They're just pure nomads, right? They just hopped in a van and took off, and they're just wherever they happen to be at that moment. Um, but I could definitely see the benefits of kind of having an established home base. And honestly, for the last couple of years, I have been spending winters in Yuma, visiting my dad, staying on his property. And so I've kind of had that a little bit for the last couple of years. And so I could see, I can see it is kind of a nice feeling, like when winter comes around and it's time to, you're heading back home, and it's like familiar roads and familiar stores. So I can definitely see I can see the appeal to that, man. I like that perspective.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else, Larry, on that you wanted to talk about or that was on the questions or anything that's piquing your interest?
Yeah. What did you do for your birthday?
Well, my birthday is actually Saturday.
Okay.
So I'll be 40 on Saturday, and gonna I'm gonna have dinner with my dad, and I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna do. So either we're gonna try to find. So there's actually this place in Pine Top, which is like 20 minutes from where I'm staying, and it's called uh, something country store, and it's like a meat market where they have all kinds of like really nice, like specific cuts of meat. And so I was thinking I might try to cruise out there and get like some really good meat and then maybe grill it up back at his place. He's
Oh
got a
yeah.
little propane grill. So,
Nice.
that's I appreciate a good cut of meat. And usually I'm just grabbing stuff from the grocery store, just whatever cheap cut I can get my hands on. But I thought maybe I'll, plan a little meal and go get some good quality meat and do a little cookout. That's kind of
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Perfect day then.
Yep. So, I'm fortunate I happen to be around family for this birthday. Normally I'm just wherever I happen to be. Although last birthday, last August, I was in San Diego and I was with a whole bunch of nomads living on the beach in San Diego. And so
Nice.
that was something I was going to actually talk about. That was my best. I had that written down as my best experience, my best van life experience. In the 7 years I've been living in a vehicle, last summer, me and probably at any given time 15 to 20 nomads were all just traveling around living in San Diego. And it was so much fun. It was this combination of like being a nomad. So you just, you stay wherever. We would all at night, we would all park up like in random parking lots or on the beach. So we would all like gather for the evening. But then we're right there in San Diego. So during the day, we would like go to the beach or we
Oh
went
wow.
to a couple concerts. So what was cool is we could stay in parking lots that were right on the boardwalk in San Diego. So I remember one night there was like 5 of us. We all had our own rigs. My buddy Zach has a 26-foot box truck. It's absolutely huge. He took up like 2 parking spaces, and we're all in this parking lot in the middle of the city in San Diego, right on the beach. And we just walked across the parking lot to this boardwalk, and there's a concert venue. And we were right on the ocean at a concert on the beach in San Diego. And so we
Nice.
just hung out, danced all night, had a few drinks. And then after it was over, we just walked back to our rigs and we're home. We don't have to drive anywhere.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that earlier, and it's hard to explain, and I still can't get it sometimes. But the whole having your house with you, just to know that if you got to change clothes or go to the bathroom and you don't want to go in a public place, it is just nice. Or even just driving down the road, you just pull over and grab lunch, or it's just there's so many things about it that you don't even think about until you're driving around in your house.
Yeah. Yeah, and let me tell you, until you're driving around in a vehicle that's not your house, right? Like where I'm at right now, I have this new rig I'm building. So when I take that into town, I don't have anything. I don't have a fridge, I don't have a bathroom. And so I almost get a little bit of anxiety, like a tiny bit, just leaving my home because I'm like, now I don't have all my conveniences. If I want to
Yeah,
use the bathroom, I got to go into Home Depot or something.
right.
So yeah, I feel so spoiled now having all these amenities at my fingertips.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Sophia has a question. When you park your vehicle for more than 4 to 6 hours, for shopping, that just reset. Where did it go? When you park your vehicle for more than 4 to 6 hours for shopping or a movie in the night, will you worry about robbery? Oh, no, we're not worried about robbery. I've never had anyone successfully break into my vehicle. I've never had it stolen. How about you, Larry? You ever had your vehicle tampered with? Any signs of someone trying to get in?
No, no, I haven't. I mean, it is a thought that crosses my mind. I mean, and it doesn't have to be 4 to 6 hours. I could just walk into Walmart and get
Yeah.
broken into. If anything, it would be the dogs I'd be worried about. The items that I have in here, just whatever, just replace them. But that's what insurance is for, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. One thing I will say is you can install a kill switch in any vehicle, something that you hide that only you know where it's at, and you could basically disable the fuel pump or disable the starter or something like that. And then that would, at least if someone broke in, it would at least prevent them from stealing the vehicle, right? Because like for the most part, if you're in town, if someone's going to break into your rig, they're going to try to remove it and take it to a new location, and then they're going to fuss with it. Like they're not going to break into your rig and then ransack it in the Walmart parking lot, because you could come back at any time, right? So for the most part, they're going to try to steal it. So anyone that's really worried about it, you could install a kill switch, and that would just prevent your vehicle from being removed. And then in the chat, AJ also mentioned you can do security cameras as well. Larry just mentioned Waggle. He's got the camera that he can hop in and take a look at what's going on inside the rig. Also, I'll mention. Oh, go ahead, Larry.
Oh, not to mention, there's just things, laptop, Waggle. There's stuff that's multiple items that have GPS. So if the truck was taken and gone, I mean, they would have to know where all those items are. Have an air tag, and there's just all sorts of stuff that I would be able to track it down. I mean, I would hope that people. Well, I don't even. I know. I heard what I was going to say before I even said it. I was going to say hopefully they'd be smart enough not to steal something, knowing that you could track it. But those people that steal it aren't that smart.
They ain't that smart, bro. I also wanted to mention my friend Mark from Wanderbox. He just installed some Reolink brand cameras on his box truck, and those record video and audio. And he sent me some clips from it. It's super crystal clear. And what's interesting about Reolink is it links up to your internet. So like if you have a constant connection, like he has Starlink, so it'll actually send you alerts if it detects, like if there's any motion detected or if someone comes close to your rig. So if you guys are really concerned, you could have a security system like that where it would actually send alerts to your smartphone if it detects anything going on. And then like the clip Mark showed me, he was parked at some friend's property, and there was like a dog that just wandered up and sniffed his box truck at like 4 a.m. And the cameras detected it. They kicked on, and then they sent him a little, like a 5-second video clip for him to review just to see what's going on. And then if it's like something he's concerned about, he can pull up the app and watch the whole video. But I thought that was a really cool peace of mind, just for anybody that's concerned about vehicle safety. But yeah, I would
Yeah,
definitely say that in GPS trackers.
I had Ring cameras on my last camper, which was nice. I would be curious about the ones you're talking about. I was just talking to a guy a couple days ago. I want to get cameras on this camper as well. I just want to make sure. I kind of want to get an upgraded version of what I had before, um, but yeah, I think that's probably the ultimate safest way to go, as long as you have that constant internet connection.
Oh, sorry about that. I had another window pop in. You guys still with me?
Yeah.
There we go. Somebody asked in the comments about Larry's channel. Right underneath, right next to his name where it says work less, enjoy life more. That is Larry's YouTube channel. You guys should check it out. He does great videos, camping, traveling. His last like 6 videos have been really good because he's like started a new adventure. He's out traveling, getting into shenanigans, running into crazy weather. And so there's a lot of good stuff to watch from Larry.
And being that solar, my next video that I'll be posting, we'll be talking about the solar that I've installed on this, and was able to get 2,700 watts of solar up on the roof. So it's a pretty awesome system. Pretty excited. I haven't even told my own channel that yet, what's going on, but that video is coming next week. I'm hoping next week, as long as I can get it edited in time. I got a lot of driving to do those days.
Awesome. Yes, Larry has a truck camper, and he has so he has a guy that's doing his solar, and they're putting one of those racks on the roof that kind of goes up over all the stuff. So he's able to just fill his roof with solar panels. And so as he has mentioned, he's doing, I think, 2,700 watts on the roof, which is insane. For a truck camper, that's like unheard of. There's a picture of it. Yeah, that looks really good. I have a lot of people, Larry, that ask me for similar stuff like that. So I hope your friend is open to more business. And if you put a link in your video, I'd be happy to send people that direction, because there's a big demand for someone that can build racking systems that go up over like existing RV roofs.
Yeah, I guess this is the system that he's figured out and designed. I guess nobody else really has it, but it's Big Beard Battery. What's cool about this place is that they have different ways you can just drop your RV off and have the install done without you even being around, or the one that I'm in is the solar clinic. So they just are on standby at all times. I'm camped out here on the property. I'm doing all the work, but they're just telling me what to do next and how to do it. And then they also have mobile installers, so they can go to you and install it at your place as well. So I mean, they have different variations, but definitely know what they're doing, and I like it because I'm very particular on how everything is just done right to a T, and it has to look nice and not just sloppy work. And I love how they are exactly that way, and they do just such good high quality work. And they even make their own batteries, the Big Beard batteries.
So
this
is actually the Big Beard Battery company that's doing the install.
Well, I'm doing the install, but it's with Big Beard Battery. It's through the solar.
They designed the rack system.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay, cool. That's good to know, man. I've heard of the brand. I haven't really seen their batteries yet, but I've heard of them. It's good to know they're doing it. And by the way, Larry sent me photos of the installation of his like charge controllers and his inverter. It looks very, very clean, very professional. Victron set up all the wires like straight and heat shrunk and terminated nicely. So you can tell just from looking at a photo of someone's install for 3 seconds whether or not they know what they're doing. It looks very good. There's a photo.
That's some of it. I don't have an updated picture, but that was the last one I took.
Yeah.
But
it looks really good.
Me doing it, but them just telling me what to do, and then it's just a matter of taking my time to do it right. And I'm not getting paid hourly, so I can take my time and do it as nice as I want to make it look.
So that was actually your labor that you just showed me.
Yeah, and the roof rack and everything.
Okay. So like walk me through that. When you did the install, did they tell you like what size wire, and this wire goes here, this wire goes there? How much support did they provide you?
I think hello.
Yeah, I think you're buffering a little bit, but it's coming back, brother.
So I'm assuming you're saying walk you through how this worked out.
I'm just curious how much support they provided when you were doing the install. Like, did they give you the wires and tell you this one goes here and this is how long it needs to be?
Um, they kind of, I mean, they have techs that are standing around, or not standing around, but they're around. And then Todd, which is the owner of Big Beard Batteries, him and his crew, his whole team here will kind of design something that will work with your rig. They'll figure out like how many watts you need, unless you have something specific you want or whatever. So I didn't know what I needed even. The only solar install I've ever done was a little 400-watt Rich Solar thing I got from Amazon, and that was the extent of my solar knowledge. So they were able to walk me through making my own wires, how to set everything up properly for venting, so that way the inverter doesn't, send heat right up into a solar charge controller, stuff like that that a normal average person wouldn't know. And
Nice.
then and yeah, they're there as much as you need them to be. Like
That's awesome.
they're not going to physically do the work for you, because that's the solar clinic is to teach you to do it. So that way, when you're down the road and something happens, then you know every in and out piece of your whole system.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I agree with you. It's important, if you have a breakdown or something goes funky, you want to know at least where to start looking for trouble, right? So you really want to have those skills.
Oh yeah,
Now,
I
so
did
they
have
have oh, go ahead.
I did have a little help with the rack, mainly because and the rack wasn't hard to build, but it was just hauling that stuff up there. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so there's people there that can help you and give you a hand if you absolutely need it. But the whole idea is to teach you to do it.
That's awesome. Dude, I'm so happy to hear that. So that's the solar clinic. Do they also provide labor if someone, doesn't want to or isn't physically capable of installing?
Yeah, you can pay them to just install it, and you don't even have to be here. I mean, you
Okay.
can. I'm assuming you can be here and watch if you want. But yeah, and then they also have mobile techs, which is the guy that I've been working with, Brad. He's been great. Uh, Another Brad. He's been great, and yeah, I mean, he'll travel to you.
Awesome.
They have multiple techs kind of all over, but they'll travel to you if you don't want to bring your RV to Athens, Texas,
Right. Yeah.
and then
Especially in the
that way,
summertime.
yeah. But I've been watching the whole process. They'll ship crates full of all the gear, the batteries, and everything's packed very nice and well, safe where it's not going to get damaged. And they'll send it out to the person doing the install, and it's a great. And then they like I came here. I have tools, but the whole idea is I wanted to experience what the solar clinic is all about, the way that it is.
Yeah.
Assuming, like, let's say I was somebody that didn't even have tools, that was the idea. So I came here, and they have every single tool, everything you could think of, and the shop is just right across the way. And then I'm able to just walk over there and grab whatever I want. And then while I'm here, I have full hookups that I am able to stay in the RV with the AC on, and just like I'm camping, but I'm just a couple feet away from the shop to where I can just walk over there and grab tools and move on to the next thing.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that. So a lot of people are interested. Is that so? How can people find out more? Is that bigbeardbattery.com? Do you know what's the website?
I assume it's bigbeardbattery.com. Yeah, I've been telling them, like, I'm so excited for them. I said I'm going to be the next spokesman, because I love how I feel like family here. They have a pool, like a big in-ground pool.
Oh,
We've been
hell
hanging
yeah.
out, barbecues, and hanging out in the evening times, and they're just such great people, and I, I like people like that. I want to help get their name out there if I can. So I'm hoping to get business cards and stuff that I can start handing out, but I just haven't gotten to that point to where I know all the details yet. But I would assume bigbeardbattery.com,
Awesome.
Athens, Texas. So
Yeah,
if
I
you
just
search
dropped it in
that
the
up.
chat. It is indeed bigbeardbattery.com. So if you guys want to know more, you want to go to a solar clinic, I would encourage everybody should do the clinic. You should learn it, how to do it on your own, empower yourself, with a new skill set and some knowledge. Because the worst thing is to be camped out somewhere and your electrical goes out and you're totally helpless. That's the worst feeling. So I would encourage
Mhm.
folks, if they can, do the solar workshop and take home a new skill set.
Oh yeah, and it's been a blast. I was telling them, which might sound sad, but this is like probably the funnest thing I've done all year so far. I've just always been into the techie, building stuff. So I just love this kind of stuff.
No, that's not sad at all, man. That sounds like fun. I mean, it's cool to get your hands in and learn something new. And it's really nice to have that experience of knowing there's somebody right there when you get hung up on something that can help you, right? Because
Yeah,
that's usually the biggest stumbling point is you try to DIY something and then there's no one to turn to if you need help. So, I mean, that's the perfect situation. And they got a pool. I mean, let's game
yeah,
over.
right. Oh, and one thing too I wanted to add too is at the end they have everything. They test everything out. They run the system. They want you to stay for an extra couple days just to run everything. They have temperature, like heat guns to make sure there's no hot spots. So you'll leave knowing it's 100% safe. And also, they're not going to let you install something. Like I'm trying to get the a DC DC charger on my truck, and we haven't installed it yet. But well, I haven't installed it yet. But they still want to run tests on the alternator to make sure that I'm able to supply that power safely without damaging anything. So that
That's
stuff is
awesome.
also all good because you can find out how to learn to do something on YouTube, but without the professionals there, you don't know if you're doing it right or not when it's something like that, a detail.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear they're going that far to help protect their customers because that's something people ask me is like, can my alternator handle, a DC to DC? And I'm like, well, there's some math involved. You got to figure out what the capacity of your alternator is. And, there's a few steps you got to take before you just go and throw a 60 amp alternator charger on your rig. It could end up killing your alternator. So that's awesome, man. It sounds like
Oh,
they're a great company. They need more recognition, man. I hope you can help spread the word.
yeah, I'm hoping so. I think it's a genius idea. Kind of wish I would have thought of it,
Yeah.
but I think it's great, honestly.
There was a guy in North Texas that did something similar. I don't know if you've heard of him, but it was called Awesome Possum van conversions. And he was in North Texas and he had like, I don't know, a 20-acre plot of land. And he would let people come and bring their vehicles and they would do full conversions there. So it wasn't just solar electrical, but it's like if you showed up and you had the willpower and the skills, they would kind of teach you how to do different aspects of a conversion. So it's something kind of similar, but it was not specialized in solar and electrical.
Right.
So yeah, I'm super happy to hear that Big Beard has it going on. And
And
if I
they're
ever make it through Texas, I'd love to drop in and interview him.
yeah, and I mean he's all over too. He's got a podcast. I don't
Okay.
know details, so I don't even know if I should get into all that yet. But yeah, and well, anyways, but what I wanted to bring up was the batteries. Like they make them right here, so I've been watching them make them, and they just put so much time and effort into them, and there's just such high quality batteries. And the cool part is the ones that I'm getting. Am I cutting out? Oh, I'm
No,
good. Okay.
you're good, man.
The ones that I'm getting are the 12 volt, 300 amp hour batteries, and the cool part about them is they're not much bigger than 100 amp hour battery, which and then they use just such high quality um, internals, and they're heated, and they communicate with each other, and it's just you get what you pay for, I think, with batteries. But I'm
Yeah.
excited to get them in here and using them because with being a truck camper, I didn't have a lot of room to put massive batteries in here, so I can get the 4 batteries in, which will be what 1,200 amp hours, um, and that's about all I can cram in here. But still, I wouldn't have been able to do it with most other batteries.
Yeah, that's what's nice when you build your own batteries, you can design them in a footprint that fits the space that's available, right? And in fact, if you open up any of the prefab, like an LI Time battery or a Battleborn battery, if you open up the case, there's a lot of extra room inside. The battery box that you see, it just has a bunch of little cells inside, and there's a bunch of gaps and space, and so it's definitely nice if you can do something custom and get something that's totally tailored to your needs. And believe me, guys, I was shocked when Larry told me his plans. I was like, ain't no way he's going to get 2,800 on the roof. Ain't no way he's going to get all these batteries. But now I understand he found a company that has really good, kind of tailored to you solutions. So I'm happy you found them, and I'm happy they're out there helping the people. All right, Larry's buffering.
Yeah, I'm back, I think.
He's back. All right, brother. I'm getting ready to wrap it up for the evening, Larry. Is there anything else you wanted to say to the folks, or anything else you wanted to discuss before we sign off?
Just wanted to wish you a happy birthday and thanks for having me on. And it's been a lot of fun, and I have to do it again sometime. And I mean, shoot, my birthday's a week after yours, so maybe who knows? We'll do another one.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're a Leo too, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Well,
Couple
technically,
of
I think it's
times.
right over. Is it Leo? I think I'm a Virgo. I think it's like the cutoff is right before my birthday.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're a Virgo. There you go. But yeah, I appreciate you joining, man. Thanks for the birthday wishes, and same to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy early birthday to you.
Thanks.
And I'm glad you joined me tonight. I wanted to try something different. My live streams are always just me, just kind of rambling into the screen. And so I wanted to try to bring in another guest and have a little dialogue and, kind of get some different opinions and talk a little bit more about the lifestyle. And I think we did a good job tonight. I think we answered a lot of questions and helped out some people. And I'd love to do it again sometime, brother. And, if you want to do something on your channel, I'm always open to hopping on and making it happen, brother.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All righty. Well, I think that's it for us, guys. We've been going 90 minutes now. It's been a good live stream. I appreciate Larry for joining us. Make sure you follow his channel, Work Less, Enjoy Life More on YouTube. He's got great videos. They're way longer than mine. So if you guys want to watch a good, 40-minute video,
No,
that's
dude,
got some good
I
meat
stick
to
to 30 minutes. They're about 30 minutes.
Okay, they're about 30. But if you want to watch a good, a good adventure and see what Larry's up to, because I'm not traveling, I won't be traveling for a couple months still. So check in on his channel and see what he's up to, and definitely keep your eyes out for his review or his video with Big Beard Battery. I'm definitely going to be watching for that when it goes live. And check out bigbeardbattery.com. Go down, take the solar school, learn how to do your own electrical, and empower yourself.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And
Definitely.
so I appreciate it. That's going to be it for us. Signing off. Thank you again to Larry. Thank you for all the people that joined us. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you on the next one. That's it from me and Larry. Nomad Brad signing out. Peace. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, guys. See ya.